Well, thank you very much, Dean. Thank you very much, Lord Mayor, for that introduction. It's very nice to come to Qatar and be amongst old friends. My first visit to Qatar was in 1989, probably just after having received a briefing on Islamic finance from Dr. Wilson, who was my first teacher, or first instructor in Islamic finance all those years ago, and is still a major inspiration for all of us in the United Kingdom. And what I learned from him was the benefits of the economics of Islamic finance in the context of sort of the development of Abrahamic economic and financial theory, which has stuck with me ever since. And I think in the United Kingdom we understand, as the Lord Mayor is saying, that there's a lot of practical value in adopting an Islamic economic model, even if it's I'm not a Muslim, I'm a Christian, but I prefer the interpretation, the economic interpretation of Islam over the conventional one, and I think it has less danger, more real value to the economy in it than does the conventional one. So that's my personal opinion, but in the United Kingdom we have now the opportunity through the Islamic banks and other institutions to also work in that field. So we have lawyers who have strong teams of legal expertise in the UK. We're very fortunate that English law is so sympathetic with the development of Islamic contract law. So the UK English legal firms have become the leaders in Islamic financial contract work because of that sympathy with the English law. So again, a good fortune to be placed in the United Kingdom, where we have a strong ethnic mix which allows us to learn from our countrymen and also from our scholars, but also from our legal system and so on. Our accountants also have made big strides alongside our lawyers, and our professional services activity in the United Kingdom is very strong on the back of that. And in fact it's an activity which is we export. As part of our invisibles, we export our legal teams and our accounting teams to all over the world with this experience in Islamic finance. Education and training, much the same. Dr. Rodney might be the pioneer and the groundbreaker in this area, but we have a number of universities in addition to Durham which have got their own courses, Reading and Surrey and a few others which... Cass, of course, Cass indeed. The Lord Mayor's the Chancellor of Cass University, so, and they run a Masters in Islamic Finance and have booked up in the city. So the country is well covered, and the business area is well covered. Also through bodies like the Chartered Accountants, or specifically these days the Chartered Institute for, or newly Chartered Institute for Securities and Investments, what you might have remembered as SII, which is now CISI, do a number of programs, including the Islamic finance qualification, which is formal education in this area. So we have them as components of different courses. So we have people working in all those areas. And we also have a developing scholars program. We have a number of Sharia scholars who are British, but have trained in the region. One of the scholars in our bank trained for 3 years in Dubai under Dr. Hussain, and there's a lot of influence in these areas. And that program is developing further and further we now have the Islamic Finance Council in the United Kingdom, who run programs for Sharia scholars in the United Kingdom, and also through MOU with Malaysia and with Bahrain, training scholars in aspects of conventional finance so that they can start to identify those areas where they're being hoodwinked by the conventional bankers, where they can understand the conventional product and realise if some aspects of the new products are being disguised, so that they can hold on to the legitimacy and avoid the complaints sometimes that come about Islamic products not being very Islamic. Well, they feel that they need to know more about it, and the IFC run programs for that in the United Kingdom and elsewhere. So you can see we take Islamic finance seriously in the United Kingdom. We run thought leadership programs, as do you, with Islamic Development Bank, Research and Training Institute, and also with Islamic Financial Services Board. We do those. We started, the first one we did was the Islamic economic model, and whether Islam in fact had its own economic model, or whether it was, did it really count as an economic theory. We had the World Bank there and people from all over, and they determined through the economists there, determined in fact that it was a standalone economic model. We've had them on accounting and on legal, and we continue to do that, and Islamic capital markets will be later on this year. We hope that the Dean will be able to accept an invitation to London on the back of that to help us with that. So, an exciting area. I could talk for many hours about it, but my colleague also, who's with us from London, Professor Faruqi, who is not used to going into an audience where people not only have more experience than my 30 years in Islamic finance, but have much more experience than I do. So that's I feel a little bit nervous in front of people who can see through to the truth behind these stories. But I think I wanted to leave you with some thoughts for the students in the audience, and some thoughts for everybody else. Really, was that on the one hand, we have such enormous support in government in the United Kingdom. It doesn't matter which parliament party is in place, we have great support over many decades for the development of Islamic finance. We have that support in Parliament to create a level playing field. They're not looking to promote Islamic finance, they're looking to say that everybody should enjoy a level playing field, there should be economic inclusion, and people should be able to conduct their economic affairs in accordance with their faith. There should be nothing to interfere with them doing their business, looking after their financial assets, looking after the finance of their children in accordance with their faith. Social and financial inclusion. Also, they feel that the City of London should be competitive in every area. They recognise that Islamic finance is a growing business internationally, worldwide, so they feel that the City of London should be competitive. So they're prepared to change the laws, they're prepared to change the taxes, they're prepared to change the education system to accommodate all of these different things. We're very proud of the fact that our Lord Mayor and the Corporation of London, the embassies that we have here and worldwide, and the different departments provide enormous support. The fact that we can get the Lord Mayor, who I think is the 682nd Lord Mayor of London, so over 822 years. He if anybody represents the tradition of the city, it is the Lord Mayor. More so in many ways than our other institutions. And if he is prepared to make these presentations personally, it shows you the depth of the commitment in the United Kingdom to this. So that's the one story. The second story I'd like to leave is that we're very keen as the UK to cooperate with Qatar and with the foundation. What's going on here is astonishing. What Sheikh Moza has achieved here is really inspirational for at any level, on anywhere in the planet that I've seldom seen this kind of determination to develop the science of social responsibility. I think it's much to be applauded, and we would love to be engaged in some way, some small way, in sharing those our experiences and engaging through different programs. And for the students who are studying and who may be thinking about taking a career in this area, I travel from Malaysia through GCC, Europe and America, and I know that everybody who's engaged in Islamic finance is passionately engaged in it. They really enjoy it. It's a business they enjoy. It's a business of finance that you don't have to hide your head. When I get into a taxi in London and they say, "What do you do?" I say, "I'm a banker." They go, "Boo, you're the man who's stolen all our money." But I don't feel that way. In Islamic finance, I just don't have that feeling. I say, well, we're responsible, we do it a different way. That's not our way. But we have to be careful not to do it that way. We have to be careful as institutions not to be seduced by the glitter of some of the irresponsible financial management. And provided we maintain the standards that we are taught by our lecturers and our betters, then we'll feel good at heart about working in Islamic about financial services And a lot of people, you know, they go home at night, they can't say that. They might make a lot of money, but they don't necessarily feel good. And for the people who are thinking about a career in this industry, I can do, you know, having been in it myself for a long time, I never regretted once specialising all those years ago. When I discovered Islamic finance, I've never regretted for 30 years when I've seen other people going off in different directions, maybe getting, you know, $150 million bonuses or something like that. I might regret that a bit, but you know, I don't regret ever making that career choice. And if you're thinking of it, then I would recommend it to anybody. And I hope that you're all very successful, and that I'm sure that the education and training that you get here will be a fantastic launchpad for your careers. And I'm sure we wish the students all the very best for the future, and the faculty.
Thank you.